Have you ever heard of Captain James Cook? He's often celebrated as one of history's greatest explorers. A master navigator who filled in the blank spaces on the world map. His 3 epic voyages in the late 18th century fundamentally changed how Europeans saw the world, especially the vast Pacific Ocean. Cook and his crew sailed thousands of miles, charting coastlines from New Zealand to North America's Pacific Northwest, and even venturing into the icy waters of the Antarctic. They were the first Europeans to make contact with eastern Australia and the Hawaiian Islands. Their detailed maps and scientific observations were revolutionary. Imagine, for the first time, having accurate charts of this immense ocean. It opened up new trade routes and sparked a wave of European interest and expansion. The scientific knowledge they brought back was immense, covering everything from botany to astronomy. But there's another, much darker side to this story. When Cook's ships, the Endeavour, the Resolution, and the Adventure, arrived on the shores of these previously isolated islands, they weren't just carrying sailors and scientists, they were also carrying invisible passengers. European diseases. Think about it. For thousands of years, the peoples of the Pacific had lived in relative isolation. Their immune systems had never encountered illnesses like smallpox, measles, influenza, or venereal diseases. What was a common sickness in Europe became a deadly plague in the Pacific. The moment Europeans stepped ashore, this devastating exchange began. In places like Hawaii, Tahiti, and among the Ambori of New Zealand, these new diseases spread like wildfire through unprepared populations. Entire communities were wiped out. Historical estimates suggest that in some areas, the population plummeted by as much as 90% within a few decades of first contact. It was a demographic catastrophe of unimaginable scale. This wasn't an intentional act of war, but the consequences were just as deadly. The introduction of these diseases shattered societies, broke cultural traditions, and left communities vulnerable to further colonial pressures. The loss of elders and leaders meant the loss of invaluable knowledge passed down through generations. So, when we remember Captain Cook, it's important to see the full picture. He was a brilliant navigator who expanded the known world for Europeans. But his voyages also marked the beginning of a tragic chapter for the indigenous peoples of the Pacific, one defined by immense loss and profound change. It's a complex legacy that reminds us how interconnected our world is, and how exploration has always had both a bright and a shadowed side. Thanks for watching. If you found this perspective interesting, please like this video and subscribe for more complex stories from our shared past.